who gather round the mighty tree to give their point of view. As man is the pound fire, he shows that he has born, and Donny our host will jump along, guiding us through the storm, guiding us through the storm. Big T's our rock, he keeps us true, he often gets his say, and just alive he knows the girls and everything dragons win, and everything dragons win. The Mad Dragon podcast is a journey unforeseen, with Tasman and Donny to the moon. Then there's Big T and Coco, just the star, Mazda and the other crew, here on the Mad Dragon podcast.
Well, g'day and welcome to the Mad Dragons Vodcast, NRLW and Lower Grades review and preview. First, let's get straight into it. Let's look at the NRLW trial game against Parramatta. We aren't allowed to share highlights of NRL or NRLW games, otherwise the NRL comes down on us. So no highlights to show the fans, Jess, but we lost 20-8. With no conversions, dreadful first half. Take us through your thoughts on the game.
Well, as we said during the chat of the game, that there was a lot of changes that Soward was looking at. He rotated players and give them all opportunity to stake their claim for a round one spot. And that obviously we mentioned during the chat as well that Bobby Law was a player that wasn't cited in that game too, so that may be cause for concern. One of the first players you'd expect to be picked in the side, so that was a concern. But yeah, our defence looked quite clunky. It showed with all these new combinations still to gel, and looking at that game as a whole, there is still a lot of work to do between now and round one. But I'm sure Jamie Soward will have the girls training really hard and making sure that they're all ready to go for round one, which starts next week. So haven't got long to do it. So yeah, it's a lot of work to do, but there is potential there, but they've got to start putting it in, and then putting it out on the park, and train the house down, and hopefully they can turn it around come round one.
Your highlights, I guess, any positives that came out of this game? Any players that impressed you at all?
I thought Tegan Berry was good in attack. She looked quite good when she was running the ball. She looked like our likely player. Zali Hopkins looked promising as the new number 6. I think she hasn't harmed. I don't have any chances harm there. At the moment, I think she'll start at 6 with Racing McGregor at 7, and maybe Casey Ray starts the season as the 14. But there's still a bit uncertainty of how the side will look, but I'm sure we'll get a bit more of an insight maybe when Sowie comes on Sunday evening.
Yeah, Casey Ray, a player definitely worth discussing her role in this trial game. She, so far as I could tell, she didn't play any time in the halves during that game at all, so she wasn't even given an opportunity to show what she could offer in the halves. It looks like Jamie has pretty much settled on Zali. And you talk about the 14 role. She played in the centres. She played at fullback. She might have played on the wing at one stage. I can't remember. But she played a few different positions that are not a normal spot. She played 9 as well, obviously. So, I mean, that sort of gives a bit of credence to the fact that you think that she's going to be the 14.
I think so, because I think Sowie's just trying to see how versatile she is, and if we lose an outside back during a game or in the halves or outside back, even at 13, I think a player that can cover those positions and see how she handles it against women, that's going to really test her out and see it. Because if you're not coming through as a half starting, 14 is more of that role where you get groomed into it, and maybe Sowie's just doesn't want to rush her in quite yet. Maybe she'll just have to bide her time, learn from players like Racine McGregor and Zali Hopkins even, and Tyler King when she does return. Casey can learn off them, and then in the next few years she'll be no doubt she'll emerge as a half in our side.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, you mentioned a few players that impressed you. None of them were forwards. Any of the forwards that stood out for you at all?
I thought Madison Mulhall looked good. I think she's pretty much staked a claim for a spot. If it was me, I'd have her in the 17 somewhere. She was a handful every time she made a run. I thought Tournier looked good as well. She started where she left off when she got injured last year. We missed her when in the games she was out at the back end of last year, so she's looked good in there. And there's still players I'd still like to see more from. Obviously, there'll be no trial anymore, so there'll be no more staking for claims. It's now a few days out when the Sowie picks his team for round one, so it's going to be interesting to see come team list Tuesday how Sauer's going to go 1 to 17.
Yeah, it certainly will. Bronte Wilson was another that I thought was like a very young player. I thought she was really impressive with some of her carries. She looked to actually be able to bend the line. Was setting a nice little platform, and I wasn't expecting too much from her, to be honest, but I thought she was quite impressive.
And another one, Racy McGregor went off with a hand injury, I think, the game at the end of the game. But if anything is happened to that, that would be a serious blow to our chances. But I've heard reports that she's fine, which is a good sign, because we lose Racy McGregor, that is a massive hole to fill. That is a massive hole to fill.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to be any different for any team, though. Every team's going to have that key player in their spine that if they go down, it's going to be a big loss and a big hole to fill, and one that you can't have players of that quality replaced within the depth of your squad. So yeah, it certainly would be a big blow to us, but I think it's the same for pretty much every team. They've got a key player that they can't afford to lose, the Roosters might have 5 or 6, but yeah.
Corbin Baxter, she's been ruled out for the season with an ACL. She tore in their trial against the Sharks and lost utility Shorten Burton as well. So they are the title favourites at the moment, so that may take a hit in the coming days.
Yeah, I'm surprised that hasn't been reflected in the betting yet, Jess. I certainly wouldn't be putting too much coin on the Roosters at those odds with those season-ending injuries to to at least one very, very key player in Baxter. She's an absolute superstar, so to lose her has got to put a big dent in the Roosters' chances, you'd think.
Yeah, 100%. And they kick off the season next week, so that's the season opening game, the Knights against the Roosters, and that'll be a great season opener next Thursday night.
Well, we'll have a big NRLW preview as a live stream. We'll getting Jamie Soward and Bobby Law on the show on Sunday night. So that'll be our NRLW preview. Obviously, no NRL game to talk about because of the bye. But having Jamie Soward and Bobby Law, it's I'd say it's pretty good in comparison to doing a normal review of an NRL game, Jess.
Oh yeah, 100%. Obviously, we had Jamie Soward on this time last year at the same time, giving his take on the NRLW season, and it'd be interesting to see how he sees what's in store for the season upcoming. And then Bobby Law, it'll be her second season at Dragons. Obviously, the first season wasn't the season she was hoping for, having a season-ending hamstring injury. But she's a key player in our side too. One of the I'd say one of the most underrated centers in the competition. He's good enough to play Origin, I think. Anyways, yeah, it'd be good to see her inside, to see what she has to say as well, and see what the girls have been up to in pre-season training, and see how they're shaping up for the season, which starts next Sunday in the Gong.
Absolutely. Well, looking forward to that, and hopefully everyone out there is looking forward to us having a bit of a chat with Jamie and Bobby as well. Can't wait. So that's Sunday at 8:30. It'll be the live stream. So can't wait for that. Righto, Jess. Let's talk about history, because Another chapter was written in our club's history on Saturday last week when the St George Dragons got their first ever win in the Harvey Norman Women's Premiership in their second season, the 20-14 win over the Parramatta Eels. First of all, let's sit back and enjoy this little highlights package.
Play on, still sorry. Ball's okay. Grounded. Let her up. Stand up. Wait till 11. Go on. Hold. Go through. Outside short. Outside through and short. Ball's good. Grounded. Half line's good. Hold. Go.
All Jason's good.
Outside.
All on.
To left. Grounded. All good. Hold it there. Hold. Go through. Outside short. Outside short. Alright, knock on Dragon. 6 more. 0 coming. Grounded there.
Happy.
5 last. Release. Go. That's
Alright,
okay.
keep going. Stay squared.
Backward. Good. Knock on the ground. Grounded. Coming into 0. 10 push up. Go through. Nice. Deep. Outside through. Grounded.
Well, there we have it. Parramatta scored the first try, but we responded with Mia Barber scoring that the first try of our season after a well-constructed backline move. It was really nice shape there from the Dragons, and then a nice bomb from Madison Lee Kelly, claimed by Barber, who offloaded to Brittany Constable to give us the lead 17 minutes in. Captain Grace Clark then scored off another Kelly kick. It was a bit sloppy, but they all count the same. As we led 14-10 at half-time, then some slick footwork from Katrina Pippin early in the second half gave us a big 20-10 lead. The Eels scored pretty late to give us some heart palpitations, but held on for a famous win. Good one there, Jesse, to see that the Dragons get their first ever win in this competition.
Yeah, 100%. This was a curtain raiser to the that NRLW trial up at Maryland's last Saturday, and yeah, as I said, your first win's always one you'll cherish for a long, long time, and I'm sure that all the Dragons girls will be over the moon with that result, and that'll give us some confidence going into the rest of the year as well, not just for this weekend, but knowing that they're going to training with a smile on their face, and it's like a weight off your shoulders when you get your first win, and you enjoy the week a little bit more after your first win, and yeah, a great milestone for the St George Dragons girls, and hopefully they can build off that this week in their upcoming game.
Yeah, looking forward to following them and seeing if they can put together a few more wins like that, because it was good to see them get the first one, the monkeys off the back, so to speak, and they can now go on with it. A bit of a longer highlights package for the other Harvey Norman Women's Premiership game as the Steelers annihilated the West Tigers 50-6. Let's have a look at that one.
Ball's down. Yep. Tigers make the line. Go, 2. Go.
Take it clear. I'm happy. Happy with the grounding, yeah.
Push up 16. Hold, go last.
Take it clear.
Kick it through.
Happy.
Go 3. Running. Go. Ball's down. Yeah. Go. At the back. And through, backwards.
Going.
Still going, still up.
Happy.
4 lock in. Go through, 4 not square, 3. Ball's down. Don't work. Go 2. Ball's down. Go 4. Pass is good. Play on. Yep. Go 1. Ball's down. Yep.
Yeah, fantastic win there for the Illawarra Steelers. For me, Caitlin Moran was brilliant. Set up Olivia Vale just a minute into the game. Grubber through for Bostock's try. Amazing kick to set up Mia Rose Walsh. Again involved in Walsh's second try. She wrapped around Vale, got the offload from her. So they're heavily involved in a lot of the good things that happened in that game. Were there any other players to impress you on that highlights package, Jesse?
Well, you mentioned Indy Bostock coming through that under-19s system. Now an NRLW development player. It's got a double in that game. Trinity Tournier, another NRLW development player. Enormous. They stepped in for the likes of Alice Gregory and Carla Cowan and Taylor Curtis, who all played that NRLW trial, and they really stepped up. Mia Rose Walsh has stepped up as well. She got a double. And Maria Paseka, another one of our Steelers girls, getting a hat trick, I think it was. So it was a great all round performance in their first game at home for the year. And it was a terrific performance, especially after their let's say their narrow loss against Mounties in round 1. And a good win to get at home in their first win of the season. And with those three players maybe available this weekend, be good to see what Coach Jamie Sazanovic goes with those. May have not said that name wrong. I do apologise if that name was pronounced wrong. But we can interesting to see what Coach Jamie does there with the Steelers side this weekend, if those three are available.
There might be a couple of those NRLW players that might want to come in for another run, get another bit of time in their legs and push their case for NRLW selection. I guess that's the idea of running the Harvey Norman Women's Premiership at the same time as NRLW this season. So it gives them that option. Another player that you didn't mention there, Jordan Preston, I thought was very good in that highlights package. Scored 1 try herself, and another one there that she set up for Paseka off a long break. But it's pretty handy having a player of her speed playing as an edge forward. It gives you an extra weapon, I think. So she looked very strong in that game.
She's come through as a centre. She played in last year's competition as a centre, so she's making that transition to the back row as a lot of centres do. I mean, she's still only young in her career, but good move, and she's showing it. Hopefully she can get better as the season goes on. Yeah,
I think she might have been named in round 1 in the centres and moved into the second row sort of an hour before kickoff or something along those lines. But it's an interesting move, and certainly on that package, it looked like something that's working early doors. So looking forward to seeing a bit more of her. All right, for Jersey Flegg, New South Wales Rugby League put out the Jersey Flegg highlights, and unfortunately our game wasn't on there. So I've managed to go to Instagram. Stephen Bates' Instagram page has got a few clips from our 38-8 win over the Kaiviti Silktails over in Fiji. So let's have a little bit of a look. There's just a couple of the tries. It doesn't have all the tries for this one.
Straight through, go with that confidence. Yeah. Play on! Last look it off! Get up, Flegg! Back here, go! Keep going. Keep going. Down. Yeah, coming at 6. 6. Go, nothing late! Kick. Right, good. Up top.
Contact.
Clean.
Thanks, Ash.
Line's good. Boom three. Still be on. Outside through. Catch. Catch. Keep going. Happy.
Yeah, so thank you very much to Stephen Bates actually making that available so we could actually see some highlights from this game. I think a lot of people were pretty keen to see Ben Rumble in particular. He scored 4 tries in this game. Jesse Williams, another one that everyone's pretty excited about. He got a double. They were the big stars of this match. But some bigger fish to fry for the Jersey Flegg team. But important that they got a big win over the Fijian team, Jess.
Yeah, without a doubt. It improves their position in the competition as well. And nice to go to Fiji, and nice part of the world to go and play a game. And be good for their confidence to get a win like that, and hopefully they can build on that this weekend when they take on the Tigers.
Yeah. Well, let's move into the preview then. So that's the review part of the show done. Let's move into the preview of this upcoming weekend. No NRLW trial, so no NRL game on this weekend either. So the place to be for Dragons fans might be Collegians on Sunday with 3 games there. We'll be a little bit different because we are a bit different here on the Mad Dragons podcast, and we'll start in the middle with New South Wales Cup side. This game at 1 p.m. I'll bring the team up. Jesse, take us through this New South Wales Cup team.
So at fullback we got Lycan King Tongia on the wing. Sione Finau returns from injury, and Savelia Tamale on the other wing, with Jackson Sherb and Ben Johnson in the centres. Famanu Brown and Jonah Glover. So Famanu Brown returns at 6 with Jonah Glover at 7. At lock we got Ryan Couchman with Dylan Egan and Dan Russell making up the back row. Viliami Fafita and Connor Mollison and Alec Tuivasa up front. Haley Finau, Michael Muller, interesting selection on the bench there. Josh Corrick and Loco Tonga with 18th man Hamish Stewart. And, of course, they're up against the West Magpies this weekend.
Yeah, one of the things you floated on Sunday, Jess, was the possibility of Sloane getting a run in Cup to work on a few things, particularly defensively. Do you still think that's a chance of happening or just pretty unlikely?
It looks unlikely now. Maybe Flanagan has just given him Sloane a warning and just know what he has to work on, and hopefully he's right to play the Panthers game on Sunday week. And another name I thought would have been in that team too would have been Jack Bird to get some more minutes under his belt. He had limited minutes in the NRL game on Saturday night, and I thought this would have been a good opportunity to get some more minutes in his legs to have him ready for that Penrith game next Sunday if he's required to play.
Well, it's always a possibility of happening. I mean, we see it every week with the New South Wales Cup side that there's a number of changes that get announced an hour before kickoff. So certainly a chance that could still occur. But I think it's good to see guys like Ryan Couchman and Michael Milo who haven't been able to get a lot of minutes. They've been in and around that NRL squad and going in as 18th man, but not actually getting too much time out in the park. So it's nice to see them back in this New South Wales Cup side.
Is there still any update on Jesse Marshke too? What happened to him in the game last Saturday? I haven't heard anything.
I still haven't heard a word. So so I don't know whether, again, not named in this side, whether he'd be an option to come into the side there at some stage if he is fit. But haven't heard anything in terms of the injury that saw him walking up the tunnel late in that win over Brisbane. So no, watch his space, I guess. We might not know anything until the NRL side is named next week. But as you said, Jess, Dragons sitting in 6th, need to keep winning and keep the pressure on the top 5. We have to win games like this against the last place Magpies, but Bud Sullivan had a blinder for them last week as they they thumped second last place Roosters 44-4. So we certainly can't take the Magpies lightly, despite the fact they're down the bottom. But it is one that we've got to win. We've got to win this one, don't we, Jess?
Oh, if we're serious about making that top 5 and playing in the finals, these are games that we got to win. Yeah, 100%. If we lose this game, then we don't deserve to be there.
Yeah, I totally agree. It is live streamed on the New South Wales Rugby League TV app, but you have to be a paid subscriber to be able to watch that. Not sure
it's $5 entry to head to the ground, Donny. Actually, I read $5 entry for the 3 games on Sunday.
Yeah, it'd be well worth getting down if you are in the area, if you live locally, or even make the trip down and watch 3 games of our lower grades. The last game at Collegians on Sunday kicks off at 3 p.m. and it's the New South Wales Women's Premiership Steelers up against Parramatta. Just given that the Dragons just beat Parry, do you expect that the Steelers go into this one as pretty heavy favourites?
Oh, you'd think so, but Parramatta would be filthy about that loss, so they wouldn't be too happy. But I'm sure they'll come out firing and looking to make the trip down here and come away with the points. So it won't be all easy for the Steelers. So hopefully they do give them the taste of steel, but it won't be all. Won't get it all their own way, I don't think. The Steelers will have to be on their game.
Yeah, well, this is the Steelers team as they have been named. Take us through this.
So at fullback, we've got Jessica Patea. On the wings, Mia Rose Walsh and Maria Paseka. Indy Bostock and the skipper Lily Rogan in the centres, with Caitlin Moran and Coffee Brookfield in the halves. Trinity Tournier, Olivia Vale and Jordan Preston make up the back row, with Mackenzie Lear, Tori Shipton and Hope Millard up front. On the bench, it's Talia Hancock, Shay Mullison, Tiana West and Sienna Yeo, and her cousin Zalia is the 18th woman. And as I said, likes of Carla Cowan, Taylor Curtis and Alice Gregory could be late inclusions. Actually, four NRLW development players, all our NRLW development players are in this side.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see like other players that are in the squad that maybe don't get picked on Tuesday, whether they all do start dropping back to play in the women's premiership. So I think we might see some of these New South Wales women's premiership sides actually strengthened once the NRLW season kicks off. Is that something you're expecting to see flow down, Jess?
Well, I expect so. I mean, I don't know what the affiliation means with the Dragons as well, because I don't know how they decide, you go back to the Dragons or you go back to the Steelers. I don't know how it actually works. So obviously we've got 4 of our development players in that side and 3 played in round 1. So interesting to see how it all does work. It's the first time it's happened, so it's just going to be one to watch, see how that all pans out.
Yeah, definitely. There's always a few questions we don't have the answers to just yet, but we've got to keep an eye out and see what happens in a couple of weeks' time. Because I think that this competition could actually get stronger. Once the season kicks off, everybody's currently training and preparing for NRLW, but you'd think those players that don't make it, there's 24 players in the squad. So there should be 6 players effectively from each team that are dropping back to play somewhere in this New South Wales Women's Premiership each week.
And we're one of the lucky teams that have 2 feeder sides, so it's going to be interesting to see. As I said, it's going to be interesting to see whether they drop back to the Steelers or Dragons. Yeah,
it'd be nice to see if the Dragons get a couple of those players at least. Surely some of them live in Sydney. All right, the first game of the day at 11:15 a.m. at Collegians on Sunday is arguably the most important, with the Dragons Jersey Flegg team against the West Tigers. This is 7th against 6th, and we have to win to keep our season alive effectively. So this is how they line up. I'll take you through this team once I get it up.
This is top 5 too, Donny, is it?
Top 5, I believe it's top 5, yes. Top 5 in New South Wales Cup and Jersey Flegg. So we've got a bit of work to do. At fullback is Ben Rumble. On the wings, Kane Barnes and Jesse Williams. Campbell Watches into the centres alongside Cyrus Stanley Trail. Nick Quinn and Ashton Ward, the reliable halves pairing. And then up front, Jet Liu and Jacob Webster. With Isaiah Fungalilo is the dummy half. Nick Sagranis, Jack Quine and Fina Latu. A pretty good back row there that the Dragons have got. The bench, Kyan Jolterson is the captain, but going back to the bench because Isaiah Fungalilo has been going so well. Travis Barrett Hancock, Ethan Arena, and Jacob Halangahu returning from a very successful AFSRL national championships where his team were the national champions. He was the best player in the best team and got another Australian schoolboys selection. So great to see young Jacob Halangahu back in the Jersey Flegg side on the bench there, Jess.
Yeah, no, without a doubt. He looks a promising young player. We saw him in the under-19s, and I actually spotted him at me local Woolies the other day. So he looks a big unit and hopefully a future NRL player without a doubt.
Yeah, absolutely. He looks a superstar. I don't want to heap any more praise on him than I already have because he's certainly gonna get plenty of plaudits, I think. As he comes through, there's a lot of people very excited about what he is capable of. Obviously, there's a bit of hard work though between now and when we do eventually, hopefully, see him in the NRL. But being twice picked for the Australian schoolboys, it's a pretty good start to a young career for sure. All right, the only game not at Collegians is the Harvey Norman Women's Premiership game on Saturday at Belmore from 11:30 a.m. The St George Dragons up against the Dogs. The Dogs are 2 from 2 and one of the favourites in this competition. Will the adrenaline of last week's win be enough for the Dragons against a pretty formidable Dogs team, Jess?
Obviously, they'll, as I said, they'll be brewing with confidence after their first ever win. But a tough test to see where they're really at against the Bulldogs, who are one of the heavyweights in this competition. They were runners up in last year's competition, so it will be a tough task for the Dragons. But hopefully, they can be up for it and give them a real contest.
All right, well, let's have a look at this team. Take us through it, Jess.
Yeah, so at fullback for the Dragons, it's Katrina Fippen. On the wings, Mia Barber and Taylor Charman. Brittany Constable and Heidi Regan in the centres. Madison Lee Kelly and Georgia Thomas in the halves. With Alafu Fatu at lock. Grace Clark and Jamie Lee Cotter in the back row with Stephanie Ball, Bianca Cup-Rupi and Brianna Wood up front. On the bench, it's Hope Hutchins, Tamani Kolmaka, Annaline Netzler and Brooke Tournier. And there is on the extended bench, it's Brianna Shillingsworth, Monique McGlynn, San Kolomaka, Erin Blackwell, and Eugenia Dennison.
Yeah, a long list of players that they've put together there, Jess. I mean, do you read anything into that? Are you expecting some late changes to this side, or you think all those players on the extended bench will drop off?
I think they will. I think they'll go with the same 17 that ran out against Parramatta last week, and I think they'll just look to impress again. And as the saying goes, you don't change a winning side, and they deserve to have another crack and make it 2 from 2. Go back to back.
Righto. Well, that's all the preview and review. Well, we can't finish without talking about last night's win, Jess. I mean, the mighty New South Wales Blues still coming down off cloud 9, mate. It was a fantastic performance. One of the most physical, most brutal state of origins I can remember in some time. The hits from both sides were hurting me through the TV screen. What a game it was!
Oh, it was as you said. I think it was one of the most brutal physical games I've ever seen. Both teams really they'll have a lot of sore bodies today. I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of these players don't back up for their clubs this weekend. That's how sore they'll be. Thankfully for us, none of our Ben Hunt and Zach Lomax don't have to back up this weekend, so gives them plenty of time to rest up and get ready for the next week's game. But yeah, a real physical game. A lot of firsts in that win too. New South Wales getting their first win in the decider in Brisbane in 19 years. Cameron Murray sent off from the interchange bench very first time, and Marley Olakawatu sent to the sheds.
Sent to go and sit in the stands because he wasn't allowed to be on the sideline anymore.
Yeah,
Crazy stuff.
But yeah, it was a great game to watch, and the Blues thoroughly deserved that game from Jerome Luai. That break he made down the side, and then found that hole in the Queensland defence, and then found Bradman Best in support. And Bradman Best still had a lot of work to do to get there.
That effort from Gagai was terrible. Like he had to make a better effort than that. He should have made the tackle on Best, really.
And then Ponga couldn't get him either. I mean, he ran over two of his Newcastle teammates. And then the try for Mitchell Moses.
Yeah.
Stephen Reece Walsh, and he made it look so silly. And credit goes to Michael Maguire. His first series in charge, he's done a remarkable job. Picked informed players. There were so many standouts for the Blues in that game. I thought Angus Crichton, well-deserved player of the series. He played pretty much all 80 minutes in every single game. Phenomenal game from him. Mitchell Moses, he's really stepped up and finally showed he belongs in the Origin arena. Dylan Edwards, he's a complete warrior.
Deserved man of the match.
He tore his PCL, so he'll be out for a month, but the effort he puts in, week out for Penrith, it translated in the Origin arena. He showed he belongs there, and
Was there any indication as to when he did that? When he suffered that injury, Jess?
You couldn't really see it in the game. No,
he was man of the match. He was man of the match in an Origin decider, and had a knee injury. I don't know exactly when it had occurred, but I'm assuming he played a fair portion of that game with that knee injury, and was still the best player on the park. Like, just a fantastic, as you said, a warrior. I think is a pretty good description of what he did. But from a selfish Dragons perspective, glad that he's out for a month, because the Panthers do seem to struggle when he doesn't play. They miss him more than they miss guys like Cleary and Luai.
Yeah, and I just want to give a shout out to our own Dragon, Zach Lomax. Tops off another great year for him. The year just keeps getting better and better for him. I mean, what about those conversions he made from the sideline?
Yeah, the
pressure,
the penalty goal, and then I think it was that conversion.
The best try.
Yeah, so that it looked like it was missing. And straight off the boot, I thought, that's going to hook away. And then it sort of went the other way and faded straight back through the middle. It was an absolute, it was like he had a remote control. It was just, no, we wanted to go that way. And, fantastic. And overall, I thought he had a really powerful performance. Seeing some of the player ratings come out this week with him getting a 7. I think I don't know what game they were watching. I thought he was amongst New South Wales' best. He was certainly right up there for me.
Yep, 100%. Yeah, that were pressure situations too. Those goals, like if he misses them, it could have been a different story. So, and he showed he belongs in that arena, and he'll be in a sky blue jersey for a long, long time. And on form, Mal Meninga will have him on a flank for Australia the way he's going.
Yeah. No, I think it was fantastic. Queensland certainly made some mistakes, I think, in terms of their selections. There's a few things that didn't quite pan out for them. I don't know what the hell Billy was thinking not picking David Fifita, but there's going to be a fair few things to come out in the wash after this series. Immediately, despite the fact Billy Slater's been pretty good, he's under pressure after losing this series because of some very questionable decisions that he's made.
Yeah, without a doubt. Another one we missed, Jaden Sewer. I mean, he was another one, unlucky one to miss out too. He was one of their best players in the first 2 games, and it was really couldn't put a finger on why he was dropped from the side. And don't get me wrong, Kurt Catwell is a good forward, but he doesn't have the physique of a Fafita or Sewer. So yeah, a lot of eyebrows raised by the Queenslanders, but who cares? The Blues are champions, Donny.
Absolutely. Just
The
know
Shield's
this,
coming home.
Just know this, Queenslanders. We are better than you, and we know it. No need to be humble. No need to be humble at all.
And if you're watching, up the Blues.
Well, hopefully our lower grades go 4 from 4 this weekend with the NRL bye. So we might call it there. Come on, Dragons fans, fire up!
Fire up!
Coco wins that pound's heart, she wears it on her sleeve. As Mustard tells tales of Dragons wins and tuna victory. Tony and the MV crew will do their very best. Hitting up topic and I digress with a red bee on our chest. The Mad Dragon podcast is a sheep of camaraderie. Navigating rants down rabbit holes in the land of big wet bees. And so our peddlers speak the tales and our premiership is our dream. The Mad Dragon podcast